can you briefly explain string theory? And
Sure. String theory is many people consider string theory as the next step beyond quantum physics. It's not doesn't exclude quantum physics, but it extends it a little bit further beyond our three dimensions of space and one dimension of time. Okay. Our space time in which we live, we can think of each particle as having a position in length, width, and height and time. Right. So it's a four-dimensional space-time location, shall we say. But if you think further and say, well, how can these objects interact with one another in ways that we don't see in our space-time? Then you imagine that each particle actually exists in more than four dimensions. It exists maybe in 10 or 11 dimensions. And what happens is when they interact, those other dimensions, some are tucked away, hidden, and not doing anything, but others are kind of knocking into each other, almost like guitar strings hitting each other. And when they do that, they wind up creating vibrations that show up in our four-dimensional space-time as if it were a particle getting energy or some sort of spin or some other kind of measurable physical quantity in our space-time. So string theory is just an extension saying, what if our whole universe is made up of these little tiny things that aren't just particles or waves, but strings that can interact with one another in ways that we can't detect yet, but in the process produce all the physical phenomena that we know today?
well, I hate to say this, but the only reason I know about that is because I watched Big Bang Theory, and I believe that's what Sheldon focused on with string theory, and I've
That's right.
always been curious about what that was
Well
exactly. So,
well, now you know. Yeah, string theory is actually lovely. It's at the moment, we're pretty sure that aspects of string theory are correct because mathematically they work out really well. But there is yet to be an experiment that has confirmed Sheldon's uh, research
oh,
or that kind of string theory. There's been
yeah.
a lot of work over the decades. And one of the things that we want to do is if we can find strings or their impact on our four-dimensional space-time, then there's like something extra ought to pop up when we are looking for the energy or the characteristics of subatomic particles in extreme conditions. But we haven't been able to unpack that just yet. It'll take a little while yet, I think, but we're still looking.